Happy Sabbath, everyone.
Happy Sabbath.
Happy Sabbath, everyone.
Happy Sabbath.
It's 1:45. I'm a traditional Adventist, and my church was Nairobi Central. During Pastor Mpisi's time. And you can imagine it's 1:45, and we're just beginning. Pastor, I need your permission to go beyond 12:30. Thank you.
Amen.
As you know that today is Sabbath, and we came that we may encourage ourselves, that we may welcome the presence of the Lord to lift up our souls, and for the Lord to sanctify us. And we need to be sanctified by the truth and by the word of the Lord. Before I start something up here, I just want to welcome each one in the presence of the Lord. Happy Sabbath.
Happy Sabbath.
Happy Sabbath.
Happy Sabbath.
And then I want to also welcome the Dallas chapter. They were already welcome, but I want to welcome them in a special way because they're here with us. From different churches, mainly from Mansville. And you're all welcome to be part of the group so that we work as a team. Just a question, is Jackie in here? Jackie, my friend, the Jackie we communicated with during the week, we were with the mother during the week. Okay, she's not here. Sorry. I wanted to welcome them officially because during the week we had Jackie and her mom, and we were going through something. And the mother promised to come and share something with you and give a testimony. I believe the Baptists, eh? Yes, but they said they would come. And also with us, we have John Melick. This man, John Melick, I knew him when he was still a young man. I believe this is Taj. Oh, yeah. I saw this guy when he was born. Now you can imagine how long I've been in the mission. When Taj was born. That was you was born in Calcutta? Yeah. And I remember a lot of stuff going on when he was born, eh? And I'm glad to see him after many years. And you remember I was telling you a story of somebody who pushed me and pushed me and pushed me to be a missionary. I didn't want to be a missionary. He pushed me, and after a few days of pushing, I became a missionary because of this guy. I was telling him, no, me, I want to be a businessman, because he's a businessman. I said, no, me, I studied commerce and international trade, so I'm going to be a businessman. He said, no, you're not going to be. I said, I will. He said, no. I said, I will. No, I will. And I think he carried the day. Because we agreed I was only going to be a missionary for 1 year. He said, okay, be a missionary for 1 year. And that 1 year is still going on today, many years later. And I'm not thinking of not being a missionary anymore. I will continue to be a missionary. So he's here today. He happened to have been in Dallas at this time, and he called me and said, hey, I'm here today. I'm speaking here today. Show up. So he showed up. He's a man of from many countries. I think by the time we communicated back then, those years, you're Canadian. No, you are Australian. I think maybe now you're Canadian or you're American. Oh, okay. Yeah. You know, I have to keep up with people's nationality. I might be wrong. I might say he's an Australian, yet he has changed to be from Dallas. So. And among us, we have another one. This man is also here, Lawrence Tenga. I think those who are from Mansfield, last time when I was talking, I showed you a video, somebody who was saying, now currently I'm the chairman for Medical Missionary Movement African Chapter board in the US. This is the man. And actually him, your nationality, Tanzanian or American or Dallas? Tanzanian. Okay, Tanzanian. But he's lived in America as many years as I can't tell. 22 years. So he's been here for some time. This man has a testimony that you people must listen to. How he became part of this group, he can tell. Now I won't tell you. I think I mentioned it when we were at Mansfield, but he has to share something little when his time comes. Maybe he can put it better than I did. Okay. Now, he has his son, Rashid. Yeah. His son is also Rashid. I also saw him some time back. Okay. A few years back, before he got married, and now I think he's married with kids or grandchildren. Are you with children or one child? Now, he's also here. Now, among us, there are other people I may not know who is who. I spoke to some people over the phone. When they heard that I was in town, they said, we have to show up, we have to come there. So I may not know who is in the congregation. These two people I know because I've known them for years and we've been talking. But some people I may not know. Many people have been talking to me over the phone. And we've just communicated and consulted over the phone, and they get well, and many years later, we meet somewhere. Like the other time when I was in New Jersey, at the church in New Jersey, Maranatha Church. After I finished preaching, and just before I stepped down, I had 7 people whom we had been communicating with over the phone who had had cancer before. And they were like, we've just been waiting to see you. I'm so and so whom you talk to. I'm so and so. And I'm like, oh, so this is you.
Abakena banene oh ni nwe.
And some of them are like, no, you would not have known me back then, but now I'm healthy and strong and a little fat.
Abande badanga nkwale ko manya ko bono na bweniro mubiro iranire buya.
But now I want to read something here a little. Go to Matthew chapter 9. Matthew chapter 9. If you're there, we want to read together. Matthew chapter 9. Matthew chapter 9 verses 35. Matthew chapter 9 verses 35. And Jesus went about all the cities and the villages, teaching in their synagogues. Teaching in their synagogues. So what was Jesus teaching? Because we might think that Jesus came to preach salvation and also to save us. But Jesus was teaching in their synagogues, okay, and preaching the gospel. Those are two different things. Teaching in the synagogue and preaching in their synagogues. Okay, the kingdom. And healing in the synagogue, not outside the synagogue. Talking about outside the synagogue, that is something that you've seen in chapter 7, chapter 8, in chapter 9, a portion of chapter 9. But now he says in their synagogues he was teaching, he was preaching, and he was healing all manner of sicknesses and diseases. And here also two different things have been mentioned there. Sicknesses and diseases. Those are two different things. You cannot put them as one. They're two different things. Sickness and a disease. Okay? It says and. So whenever we have classes, we educate people on what the two different things are, so that we understand why Jesus did so. Now, Anne, please come. I managed to come to this place here through Anne. I think she called around, she called the pastor and organized everything. She was my link to this church here. And last time when I came to the US, I came to Houston. I came to the convention, ASI convention in Houston. And then from there, I came to Dallas to visit my cousin. And I was in my cousin's house only to see she showed up. And when she showed up, she insisted that I had to go to Mansfield SDA Church. So I ended up in Mansfield, and I think the Mansfield people, you benefited something. Eh? Do you praise the Lord for what you got at Mansfield SDA Church? Say a big amen. For that reason, I came back for a visit. I came back for something else. And she said, you must visit another church. Because there are many other people in that other church who needs this help. So she called the pastor and organized that you people might also get something. Because one of you somewhere is not well.
I know there's one person somewhere who's not well. Or a relative to somebody here who might not be well, who need to listen to this and get help for their friends. But now this Anne has a little testimony. I want you to share a little testimony of Bob. Because you remember she mentioned Bob. Because of Bob, her mom got well. Because of Bob's cancer, this cancer got treated. Okay? And because of this cancer, so many other cancers are going on, being treated now. So tell us something little about that Bob. By the way, Bob is from Nyamira. And Bob has been on Hope Channel TV interview, I think 3 times or so. Every time he goes to Kenya, he does the interview. So it's not a secret. Tell us something little about that Bob.
Thank you. I knew Bob way back in 2006. When my daughter was getting married at her wedding, he's the one who was the DJ for the young people. So I knew him as a healthy young man. After our daughter got married, we stayed in New Jersey for some time. We communicated with Bob, occasionally, not all the time. And then 2009, myself and my husband, we came to Dallas. So when we came here, I didn't communicate with him again. Now, 2011, while I was a member at City Temple, those of you who know where City Temple Church is, there was a young lady called Denise. She was baptized. And the Lord led me to choose to mentor her. So I started praying with her on the 1st of 2011, January 1st. We started praying every day just to walk with her through the journey of Christianity. So as I was doing that with her throughout the year, in the middle somewhere there, she brought a prayer request of DJ Bob. But his name is Andrew, but we call him DJ Bob. So she said, let us pray for DJ Bob. I said, can I have his number? I didn't know that was DJ because I used to call him Andrew, but the young people knew him as DJ Bob. So when she gave me his number, I called him to pray with him, to encourage him. And then he told me that he was Andrew. So I got to know he's the same one who had been in my daughter's wedding. Anyway, long story short, he had been diagnosed with cancer, stage 4 cancer. And he had no clue of how he can be healed. He had just married 3 months before they diagnosed him with cancer. Now he was supposed to go to do the chemotherapy treatment, which he started doing the chemotherapy treatment. While he was doing the treatment, Bob called his sister back in New Life Church in Kenya and told the sister his condition. And the sister said, wait, I have a friend here in church whose brother is a doctor. That is Dr. Jim Ayodo. And he is right now in the US. He travels a lot, but right now he's in the US. So let me get you his number, get in touch with him, and let your brother, Bob, see Jim. So long story short, somehow they linked up with Jim, and Jim was busy where he was, but Jim was able to go to New Jersey on a Friday. Now that Friday, the Monday following, Andrew was supposed to start dialysis because his kidneys were shutting off. He couldn't go to the bathroom, and he was supposed to start dialysis on Monday. But he arrived on Friday, put him on a treatment at midnight. Saturday morning, put him on the same treatment. In the afternoon, same treatment. In the evening, that Sabbath, Andrew was able to use the bathroom. Amen. Remember, he was supposed to start dialysis on Monday. And then he did not have to go for the dialysis because now his kidneys functioned well. The water that was swollen on his feet had already drained out, and he was just like on recovery. So now, because of what God used him to do, I believe that God has interest in healing us when we have fallen sick. So when I heard that he had come to visit his cousin, I called him, he didn't answer. And then I left a message, he didn't call me back, but I called the cousin. And when I called the cousin, I met, they were together. So she said, oh, he's here, talk to him. So this is now the part I want you to understand, that this is God. It has nothing to do with Jim. It is God himself who is sending his messengers to help us in these days. Because when I gave him the phone, he told me, where do you go to church? I told him I go to Mansfield. And then I asked him, where are you going? Because I will come where you go. Because I really wanted to talk to him because of some medical issues that we also have in the family. So he told me, you come for me. And at that point I said, that is God. So I said, okay, I'll come. And from where he was, I live in Irving. I had to drive 1 hour to pick him, and then another 1 and 30 minutes to Mansfield. But I say it doesn't matter the journey, because I know what God has put, the potential in him. Our church will benefit, because we are sick people, and we need to know that when we go to the doctors, they will do what they can do. There's a place for the doctors, but there is more about what God can do through his people and through his simple plans. And for us to be told how to go back to how God wants us to live, because we are sick because of what we eat. I think I'll have to end there.
Amen.
Bana asifiwe. I think you understand that language, eh?
Amen.
Bana asifiwe. Actually, Bob got well. True? And one of the stories that stood out with Bob, okay, the tumor just dissolved. And so when he went back to the doctors for checkup the following week, there was this Indian doctor, a female Indian doctor who was seeing him before, started asking questions. You know, before they can go for tests, they ask you. So every question that was asked was the opposite of all the other questions that had been asked previously. She asked nothing, 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 threw down. And the Indian lady got offended and said, please don't joke with me. I'm here for duty. If you don't tell me the truth, there's no way we're going to help you. Tell me exactly how you feel. I have to write these things down before I can send you for check. And Bob was like, but I'm telling you exactly how I feel. You're asking me how I feel. And this is how I feel. So the lady said, let's begin again. Question number one, nothing, nothing, nothing. And then the lady said, you know, I have to write something down. Please give me what to write down. And Bob was like, please write what I'm telling you. That's how I feel. So the lady got offended and said, okay, go for checkup. So he went for checkup. The results came back negative, 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 negative. They said, no, something is not right here. They had to send him to another hospital. The results came back the same. Another hospital, results the same. They kept tracking his results for 2 years before they would declare completely it's gone, it's not there. Through him, he has helped so many other people. Those people do not even have to call me. He talks to them directly and he tells them exactly what to do, and those people go cancer-free. We are just mentioning cancer because I think most people here may just want to listen to cancer cases.
Iko tu kwa la kanse kiaranga yete nga banga baitu tuga netie kara kende kwa mangana.
But there are many other cases, many other cases.
Kono anda bo amangana na ra mange.
Let me listen to this video.
Ntage de torenge
There's a video here. I don't know if it's going to play.
Mai tu sini chiesa. Unless you put the
Yes, the technician.
unless you put the
You know, hold on. I saw this guy when he was running up and down and telling the other people, no, we need to do this, we need that capability. And I said, And I think you saw when he came up here, we were struggling to talk about, and he's just doing his stuff. Keep it up. Can you start it again?
Is as the right hand and arm.
Medical missionary work.
Medical missionary work or comprehensive health ministry is as the right hand and arm to the third angel's message, which must be proclaimed to a fallen world.
Must,
So the gospel message
not may.
is Christ who lived a perfect life, died for us, rose, interceding for us. Wonderful salvation
That's
message.
Ted Wilson.
That right arm, the right hand is to be
The president
assistance to help
of
people
SDA.
understand life in a comprehensive way, including our bodies. It's not just for medical people. It's for health professions, it's for health people, and it's for every church member to lay hold of this wonderful work, to be a health.
Every church member.
kera omubuatani.
Bwana asifiwe. Every church member.
Kera omubuatani wekanisa.
This is straight from the General Conference.
Aya ni gakurwa se general conference.
And it's our message.
No botomo.
You can do it.
Nabo korabo.
He can do it. She can do it.
Naba korabo.
Everyone
Kero yomo.
must do it.
Woika aye kore.
It's not may.
Talinga nabara kore.
As long as you're an Adventist, it's not may.
Ogi choro mu adventist talinga.
Everyone must do it.
Woika aye kore.
If you want to be in the order of the gospel that Jesus gave us,
Onye go tegete gospel somo welio wenchiri yesa toete.
you just have to do it.
Woiko aye kore.
If you don't do it,
Onye to ko aye kora.
I don't know which gospel you're involved in.
Imaite yo botomo ki osa.
Bwana asifiwe. Bwana asifiwe. If you don't do it,
Onye to ko kora aya.
I don't know which gospel order you're involved in.
Tinga tinga nchiri kire yo osa.
But every church member must be a medical missionary.
Kera omubuatani wekanisa. Woika kore.
Because you must do this. You must know
Ekiagera woika.
how to do what Jesus did.
Kumanya ko kora ngana kyo kora amangana Yesu akorete.
What Ellen White called so beautifully in her time, in her language at that time, a medical mission. This comprehensive health ministry transcends all departments, all initiatives, because it is
That's
so
Ted Wilson.
much part and parcel of
Ted
who we
Wilson.
are as people. That's why every department can be involved in this. You don't have to be a health professional to be an advocate of good health. Every church member can be that. Very much meeting people's needs where they are. And that's Christ's method, meeting them where they are. To imagine a church.
Mark Finley.
It were closed. The community would come and knock on its door, say, please open. You're running nutrition classes and cooking schools that are making a difference in our community. You're running stress management programs that are making a difference in our community. You're running wellness programs that are improving the quality of life and health. You're running health expos, helping us to identify disease and prevent disease. You're in parenting programs. This church is such a valuable church in the community. Please, if you close your doors, would you reopen? Because everybody's interested in health. That's the way Jesus worked. And that's why health professionals, church members need to be working with pastors and all working together in a very focused way. Every minister of the gospel should be prepared to do practical medical missionary work. The medical missionary work.
Look at that.
Ililia mangana.
Pastor, hii ni yako.
Maradia mangana anaya.
Ha? Hii sasa ni yako.
These are your
Every minister of the gospel.
kira.
Every minister of the gospel
Kero mokoreli wenchiri.
should be prepared to do practical medical missionary work. Practical, not theory. You don't just read about the blind man. You don't just read about the lame. You don't just read about somebody who's sick and Jesus healed. You don't just read about Naaman. You don't just read about the stories and then you contextualize it. You must be able to read about these things in the Bible and know what to do when people are sick in the congregation. Our elders, our deaconesses, our deacons, we must learn, we must be trained to know how to treat these diseases. It is our message. It is our gospel. It is known. It is known that the Adventists are into it. The Adventists. It is known by the world that the Adventists are really into this. And that's why the Adventists are superior. I think I still need the young man again. I need my brother. Come. Elder Lawrence Tenga. Because of this guy, the work in Tanzania has grown. And Tanzania hosted Medical Missionary Convention, Africa. This past month, it was last month? Last month. The entire Africa, they were there. Now, tell them how we met and your condition, or if you want to say something little, yeah, shortly. Don't go too much. You do afternoon, because these people must also eat.
Okay, yeah.
We don't have the few fishes and the few loaves.
I really want to thank God for my friend Jim Ayodo. I hadn't met him before we met here in USA. Although I knew his father and his siblings, older than him. He wasn't yet born when we lived together with his sibling, his father.
Yeah.
So he's a boy to me.
The way I said he's a boy to me, there's also an older man.
I have come to realize that the health message has to be, we have to embrace the whole message. It's not just about food, but you know, we have 7, 8 doctors.
tubwata abanyagitari batano na batatu
and nutrition is one of them.
ukuragera nenseme yamo yayo
When Jim found me, or when I found him,
kero na umerete gose chimu anyorete
I had already been a vegan for many years. By that time, maybe for 8-10 years.
ase miaka 10 iga etano eteto ntari kurie nyama
But my health was deteriorating.
kono ena bo afya yane yo yale kona kwira nasi
I'm an engineer working in big plants
igaro yo mo engineer kore mirma ase
where I have to be at work from 6 to 5 or 6 to 6
ase komene bere mbaga komene bere abwenta gotoke miremo
inside these big buildings where there's no sunshine.
ase chinyombe chinene
For years, I worked that way, and then my health started deteriorating.
miaka na kolire bo afya yane gansa
I
gusale
didn't know why I was praying, Lord, show me, why am I getting worse and worse here?
nale kona gusabanga nyasaye ngoro kienjira kere ituko yale ko babubi
When you don't have sunshine, your immune system is compromised.
takero tabwati umubaso abasigari bo mubiro yawo bagokea
Everything is bound to set in if you don't have strong immune system.
na borwire mondo bonsi bo koyeria onye basigari mbali ko kale mirimo
Then this one day, a friend of mine came and told me, there's this young man from Kenya who's preaching about things that are very, very radical.
musani ona gante ngumuntu narukuru kenyo kuradia mangana gita makong
And I need you to go and listen to him and come and tell me because I know he's not right.
ingani oge ndo kwana nero chonte bi
And by the way, that was a pastor. He was a pastor.
He was a pastor, yes.
Yes.
no ino manadio
And this was about yeast, bread, and all those things. I said, no, that guy he can't be right. He's
ay
wrong.
kwana rigoro yengano memera
So I went to listen to him when he came to a nearby church. And I wanted to just get the points and just crush him. Well, I listened to what he presented, and I was kind of confused a little bit. But I came and talked to him, and we found we had some roots that come together. Invited him home to discuss because I wanted to get him out of that message about yeast. Well, he came home anyway, to make this long story short. And I argued with him for how many days? It was 2 or 3 days. But finally, light started coming in. I started seeing the points that God was opening up, and especially when he was telling me that yeast does not die in the bread. I said, no way, when you cook, nothing can live. But I remembered that when you have yeast infection, doctors tell you not to touch bread at all. Well, I finally gave in. There are many other reasons I found, even scientifically, that yeast is still an enemy, even when you bake the bread. Bread is still an enemy. I stopped using bread and anything that was fermented. And that dizziness I was having, and my health going down, I thought I was going to die. I started recovering. I started recovering fast. Many years went by and I felt I was getting strong. I said, well, let me go back and try my bread again. Come on. And this time I made my own bread. Removing all chemicals. And I ate my bread, my own bread. I baked it myself. Brothers and sisters, what I saw, I will not forget. Soon I had blisters, you know, this like herpes kind of thing. Many times these cold sores happen at the edge of the mouth. I had them all over my face. And I cannot explain this, but it took only 2 days. And actually, I was not even able to go to church because I could not present myself with sores all over my face.
Mai kanisa tinya ko ande kera na de ko so.
I have a picture, but I will not share it.
Mbate vijara kintingo je sana.
And I realized the message was very true.
Nganyorango butumu kono kwe.
And I was just playing with God. God healed me, and I wanted to go back to Egypt.
Na kono masanga nyasa ngwenyi ngira na ari Misiri.
And God showed me that you are in the right path, and you are going back. See what you get now. Thank you.
Bwana asifiwe. One of the reasons why our program has been very successful is this part here. No decomposer, no fermentation, no yeast for our patients. And they recover like this. Now,
My editor at Geographic wanted me to find America's blue zone, and for a while we looked out in the prairies of Minnesota.
consider these are not Adventists, but they are looking for the healthiest area or the healthiest people on earth. Where did they find the healthiest people? In California. Where? Around Loma Linda. When they went to these people, they want to know, who are these people? They were not looking for Sabbath keepers. They are not looking for Christians. They are looking for health. And they found these people. So he is just describing what are these people known for? What do they have in common? They're Sabbath keepers, they're Christians, they do this and that, and they do those. But what are these people looking for? They're looking for health. Now, when you come to our people now here, do you have health in common? What do you have in common? When people come from out there, that they've been sent, oh, no, you don't have to go to Loma Linda. You can find some in Dallas, in Metro. They live around Metro Community Church. What will these people find? Will they find what they're looking for? Bwana asifiwe. Pastor, will these people find what they're looking for? So when you see us here, we come not only for one thing. We come not to just tell you to keep the Sabbath. We don't just come to tell you to keep the 10 Commandments, but we come with the gospel of Jesus, which is wholesome. It's full, it's loaded, it's complete. where you can take care of people in all their needs, particularly the sick. I want to show you just something little here. Some of the places we've been and some of the things we've done. And the reason why we're coming into your church to share the same thing with you. By the way, just like Pastor mentioned, December 7th to 10th, we have international convention for all medical missionaries in the world at Oakwood University. And I want to welcome each one of you, because I'm the chairman of the organizing committee. I want to welcome each one of you to come there and see and listen to what the others are also doing in the rest of the world. Ted Wilson will be there. Steve Dickman will be there. They have their message to give you. But I just want you to see some of this here. In the U.S., different places, different churches, different congregations, different universities. We go to different universities to do the same thing, and we teach them, we train them, and we let them go. Alabama. Anybody from Alabama here? Alabama. 2005, we were credited to have the Best Community Service Award just because of medical missionary work. This is Oakwood University. When they had South Central Conference had their first health expo that was done at the camp meeting throughout the week. It's our team that was doing that. The people we had trained from different parts of the conference. We go throughout the world doing this in different countries. And that was my wife. By the way, I'm married. I have 3 kids. My wife is in Illinois. She was not able to come because we have a little baby. Okay? Little baby, 2 months old. Otherwise, usually we travel. This time, we had a baby, 3 months old, and we went to Nicaragua. There was a mission in Nicaragua. And what you see there, we were cruising into the jungle, into the forests of Nicaragua, where vehicles could not go. They had had some hurricane, and you can see those big, huge trees, logs there. 3 months after delivery, she decided to go on mission. Look at that. I didn't force her to go. So, ladies, don't look at me thinking that I forced her to go. She decided to go. So I decided to carry the baby with me and the other luggage. But she was there. She went. Now look at this other one. This is the bus from the airport. Okay. This was the bus from the airport, and the bus only goes once a week on Saturday. Everyone waits for that bus. Look at this lady. If you look at this one here, this lady here had just given birth at the hospital, and so she had to look for this bus. Somebody's carrying, this man who's on this side here is carrying her baby. These are the kind of people we went to for that time. And if you look at this one here, the American military decided to give us this truck because we could not fit in the other one with all the team that I had. And so we were so blessed. We were so happy to have this. This is a military truck. Okay, and you can see all our people are on there. And when we took off with this truck, we realized there was no brake. And we had to go 5.5 hours. Actually, we had a very excellent driver who was also ex-military. He knew how to drive such like things. They said one of the reasons why they do that is if they park it there and somebody comes and, just steals the vehicle, takes over with the vehicle, they can't go too far. They'll just crash. And now, the government brought in people. When they heard of our message, they've been looking for Adventists to train their people into the healthiest way on earth. And so the government sent in people. Those are health professionals. We trained them and we sent them back into the field. And since then, they've trained more than 2,000 people who are health professionals doing the Adventist way. We do conventions and conferences or different. Now, if you look at this one here, we just picked on several other flyers for different trainings and different programs that we have globally. We are always on TVs and radios. So many TV, actually, all the TVs in Kenya, we've been doing programs, the radios and stuff, and even in the U.S. Universities, public universities, we have all the public universities in Kenya, we have chapters. And all the public universities, they gathered together 2 months ago for their convention in Kenya at Masai Mara University. We have annual conventions. And the first annual convention, annual medical missionary convention that was done at Oakwood University. And now we have 10th anniversary. The second one we did at Southern Adventist University, and then at Andrews University, and then we have all over the world, European Convention in Finland. And we teach people how they can use their kitchens to treat these diseases. All the cancer cases that we're talking about were treated in the kitchens. It has worked for your people. It has worked for people in Kenya. It has worked for people in Africa, in Asia, in Europe, in Finland. Actually, this is Finland. The people in Finland have testimonies and testimonies. You won't believe it. In Germany, in England, all these people have testimonies. In Holland, how this thing works perfectly well. You can see the European Convention. You can see people go for training. As we go, we also have life to live, okay? Because I told you I'm married. And as we go, we also multiply. Okay? My firstborn was born in the U.S. My secondborn was born in Finland. My thirdborn was born in Kenya. I don't know where the other one will be born. So as we go, we also have our lives to live. Okay? We also buy food. We eat just like you. We buy clothes, you see. I'm also putting on clothes just like you. So besides the other thing, we also have our lives to live. So this was born in Kenya. And I want to say something little about this in Finland. When this baby was born in Finland, at this place where the baby was born is a district. That district had not seen a baby born in 11 years. You know what a district is? You know what a district is? In Kenya, we call them counties now. A whole county, there was no baby born in 11 years. So when they heard that there was a baby that was almost born, all the doctors would be coming. And actually, my wife became a pet study for the medical students. Every time there was examination, all these students would come and gather around there and all the doctors to study a live case. And to make it worse, they had never seen a black baby born. Never seen a black baby. So when the baby was born, it was in headlines, all the headlines you can see. Finally, after 11 years, a baby is born in our district, in our country. But guess what? She's black. That was the news there. So anybody who can read Finnish, you can read whatever is there. And actually the news came when we were in church, and it was showing on TVs there, okay? And so the church, they decided to show it up on the screen, on main screen, and they started singing for the baby, an Adventist newborn baby from the missionaries in church. I have that video also here when they were singing. Everybody's standing and they were singing for that baby. And so, all over the news, they came, these news reporters, they came asking us, who are you and what do you do here? And ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta. So we got to tell them we're Adventists and we're missionaries. And so we got to tell them the message that you would tell them. A message that if we were not missionaries, we would have not preached in Finland. Actually, look at this. Look at this. Can you see that? What do you see? People standing there and they're singing, and there's a video showing up there. Okay, we've had trainings. That's University of Eastern Africa. That's Baraton. That's Zambia. We have other trainings in other parts of that's South Africa. And we also train people how to preach. Our missionaries are actually very good preachers, by the way. They do crusades. Few of them stand on the pulpit here to preach to Adventists. We preach to people out there. Our missionaries know that their work is out there to bring people to church. So very few of them are there. Actually, if you look at this, anybody knows Mrs. Asanyo? Anybody knows Asanyo, Geoffrey Asanyo? Anybody knows? This is actually Mrs. Asanyo, if you can look at her, those who know her. Tabitha. They have a testimony. Anybody knew that they had a son who was sick? Who was paralyzed in Europe? That's another powerful testimony. Anybody who find her, she will tell you the testimony. No, we train people to go out and do health expos and train people even in the villages, in their homes. Okay. We also do food expos, not just health expos, food expos. So many of you do not know so many foods. And so we also teach them which foods are good to do what. We also teach people on how to live their lives. Farming and doing all kind of other things. Building, cooking, outing, Bible studies, meetings and crusades. And we baptize many people. Many people are called just after the treatments and the trainings, and they become Adventists, and they worship God. I want to pause so that I tell you more in the afternoon. And as you realize, I was not preaching. I skipped my preaching. I did not preach. But I was showing you what Jesus would have showed you if he was at this pulpit. He commissioned you to go out and do what he was doing. If Jesus would have been on this pulpit today, what would he have told you to do? Because you're Adventists. You're not people who I'm not going to convert you today. I'm not going to tell you, oh, come so that you be baptized today. That's not the message to give these Adventists. Some of them became Adventists before I was born. Some of you here are third generation Adventists. What would I stand at the pulpit to tell you? Some of you keep the commandments even better than I do. Now, coming to the pulpit, what would I tell the pastor? But I know there's something that I can tell the pastor, not preaching, but I can teach the pastor how to treat cancer. Just one thing, how to treat cancer. Pastor, I'm interested in showing you how to treat cancer only. Because I know that in your congregation you have so many people who have cancer and they don't know what to do. So many people who have yeast infection, so many people, blood pressure. I can just look around like this and I can tell you how many of you have blood pressure, high blood pressure. Just by looking. As we came in, a few people greeted me. I saw 2 people with brain tumor. 2. You've disappeared somewhere in the congregation, but if you come back, I think I will notice you. I will know. 2 people who have just last week I was in D.C. I was in Washington, D.C. I was called for some case that was in New Jersey. This lady had been hospitalized for 1.5 weeks. For pressure, high blood pressure that could not come down. The pressure got stuck at 110 and could not come down. And so the doctors were wondering, what should we do? The pressure could not come down. They needed the pressure to come down because they had noticed that there was a tumor in the brain. And it was the tumor that was causing this pressure. Tumor. It was a swelling in the brain, inside the brain. Yes. And because it was swelling in the brain, it was pressing on the veins. And so the pressure was high. So they gave all the medication they could. Nothing. Their solution should have been take care of the tumor. But they cannot operate, they cannot open, they cannot do a surgery with pressure which is high. So the doctors gave up and said, no, we cannot do anything. So they discharged the patient when the patient was unconscious. And they signed the patient to go to hospice. They said, wait for your death. And mark you, this is a Kenyan. Okay? So the brother who was in D.C. decided to go up there to New Jersey because he was told, now gone case. So he got to New Jersey. I just left this place here after that training, the 1-week training that we had here. I just left here and I went to Illinois to see my family. I get to Illinois, I get this message. This guy calling me, we were with him in Nairobi, at Nairobi Central. He calls me and he said, please, Jim, you're the only hope we have now. I say, no, please don't tell me you want me to do something up there. He said, you're the only hope we have now because my niece has already bought tickets to take this body home before she can die. And I said, no, now I cannot come. I can only come the other week because 1 week I want to be in Illinois. You've never seen a man cry over the phone for nothing. Men, how do you cry? This man busted crying over the phone. And this is somebody I know so well. And I said, hey, no, you don't have to do that. It's like, my sister is gone, my sister. I said, okay, hold on. So I told my wife, I said, okay, I'm going to DC. But you've just come home. I say, yeah, but I have to go to DC. I have to save this life. So I told this guy, I called him and I said, okay, can you book my flight tomorrow morning, early morning? Book it to DC, not New Jersey. DC, you have to take that body to DC. He said, whatsoever the case, we'll just pray that she doesn't die before we get to DC. I said, yes, I'm not coming to New Jersey. I've been to New Jersey so many times. I want to do this in DC. So he went online to check the flights. I had to leave at 4 a.m. That was in the evening. I left at 4 a.m. in the morning to go to DC, Friday. I got to DC on Friday. We met at the airport as they were coming in. The whole Friday night and Sabbath, I did not go anywhere. Sunday morning, the pressure was 140 from 210 without surgery. That was Sunday, 140. On Monday, I began to treat the tumor. On Monday night, the pressure was 111. And throughout the week, it remained between 111 and 125. And the patient was awake and sitting and eating and talking and chatting and talking stories. On Saturday, she insisted that she had to go to the church. And actually, we went to church. Last Sabbath, we were in church with her, sitting just like everybody else. And guess what? It was the kitchen. All our treatments we were doing in the kitchen and in the bathroom. The kitchen and the bathroom. The kitchen and the bathroom. Unaweka unatoa. Unaweka unatoa. And people get well. That's why on Sunday, I decided to leave them and I came to Texas. And she heard that I was coming to Texas. So she started telling people, oh, Jim is here, Jim is here, Jim is here. So I was in her house and people kept coming. So as many as came, got the message, and actually some of them got well within just 1 week. This is the kind of message that I want to share with you. Don't expect me to come here and start unlocking the verses of the Bible. Telling you that, oh no, this one Paul meant this. Oh no, this one Jesus meant this. Oh no, you're putting it out of context. That's not my message for you. You're Adventist and you've been Adventist and you'll still remain Adventist. Jesus is coming soon. You need to get well. All the sicknesses that you have in you, please get them out. Get rid of these. In your kitchen, you can get rid of these things. Stop just sitting there as an Adventist waiting for nothing. As you wait for Christ, the church, we've been told every member, every Adventist must be a medical missionary, irrespective of what you do. This guy is an engineer, and actually what he's doing, he has not even told you what he's doing. This guy is this brain here is, you can see. You can see. His head is clean. It's not clean for no reason. This is full of intellectual stuff. He installs this. I don't know. I can't even go. What do you install? He installs and programs what and what in big equipments and machines. True or false? Big companies. He lives in in Indiana, he lives in Indiana, but he works in Dallas. Now you can imagine. He lives there, but he works here. Some of you live here, but you work in Dallas. True, you live here, but you work in Dallas. This one lives there, but he works here. That tells you he is on demand, but he's a medical missionary. We have people here of different. May the Lord be with you. And may you be blessed. Come back in the afternoon. We can talk. Some people who are sick. Among you, there's some people who've given in to do what Jesus did. There's some of you who want to be medical missionaries. I'm not going to plead with you, calling you, doing an altar call, pleading with you, saying the last chance, this is the last chance. Oh, I can see somebody is still there trying to make a decision. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to tell you, now is your time to think. And now is your time to present your case before the Lord. There are people who are sick, and because of their prayers, the Lord has led them to where they can get help. Sometimes the Lord has literally lifted us and taken us to the place where these people were. I would give a typical example of Elder Lawrence Tenga. His case, he had a case and he was praying and praying. Actually, you heard him say he already thought he was going to die. And he was going to sell his house and just, leave it money for the kids. And the kids were miserable. They didn't even know what was going on. And him and the wife, they had already planned saying, now as we're just going to do this and then we go to Tanzania and we die. True or false? But as they were praying, guess what? The Lord used a pastor to tell him to go to my meeting and shut me down. That was the mission. Go and shut that young man down. So he came loaded with facts. He did all his research to come and shut me down. And I went to, that was his church, the pastor, his pastor. The pastor had two churches, and that was the other church, eh? Three churches. And so he came there as an elder of the church to shut me down. And the Lord used that to bring in, and he was sitting there, not knowing that what I was talking about was actually his case. I was here talking about these things, and typically his case. At the end of it, he benefited more than everybody else. And it was like the Lord took us to that place just for this man. Not for somebody else, just for this man. That's why he talks with passion about this thing. I didn't recruit him, the Lord recruited him. There's one of you, now, like Anne. Anne was praying and praying and praying and asking people, how can I be a medical missionary? How can I do this? Lord, where can I get help for my family? Called people, called so-and-so there was no help. Called so-and-so, there was no help. Even called Andrew. Only for that time to be that the time she was praying and agonizing, going back and forth this time and that side, I landed in this place here. And she was like, oh, this is an answer to my prayer. And now because of that, so many people have benefited among you. I'm telling you, maybe it's you who's been praying for something. Maybe you've been praying for a loved one somewhere. Now is the time to give your prayers to the Lord. Because we're bringing a whole group of medical missionaries among you to help you.